Alright, hey there guys, Bad Fat Panda here, and I have another commentary for you. This time, let's see, I believe I fixed the sound. So this time I have a TvP, actually, and let me just make sure that I got that right. No, that's enable music. Alright, wonderful. So this is actually going to be a TvP. As you see, I wanted to accomplish a couple things in this commentary. So I will speak about them in a second. So I am the Red Terran, my opponent is the Blue Protoss. This is on the Korean ladder, in case you couldn't tell by his Korean name. He was a top 8 Masters last season, so I'm assuming he's pretty good. And the game was pretty fun. It was really kind of back and forth, and I was going into the mid game. I really didn't think I would be able to secure an advantage again, because I kind of screwed myself, but it wound up in my favor, and this is a 40-minute long game, so why not, right? The first thing I wanted to accomplish really was to show this new map. Condemned Ridge, it is the new Blizzard map. They have taken out rocks at the 3rd. What does that mean? It means it's a little bit better for Zergs, but it's still really bad for Zerg. Why? Because it's ridiculously easy for a Protoss and a Terran to take 3 base. Like, you can very easily, I mean, you have this little drop ledge here. You need to be careful a little bit about, like, roach drops. Muted harass can be a pain in the ass, but I play mech, so I really don't encounter that much. And it's very easy. You have these 2 chokes right here. These are the only way that your opponent can get into your base, aside from Nidus and stuff. So you just siege up right here, put a little Sim City there, and gradually push out to your 4th. And drop play is very good. So Zergs don't like it. I've spoken to a fair amount of my Zerg brethren, and they tend to dislike and veto the map. But I tend to give it a little bit of time before I veto any map, just to give it a chance to play it in all matchups and see if it really sucks or if it's actually good. I don't think that this is the greatest map for all race balance, because I mean, if one race is going to veto it like 90% of the time, not the greatest map, but we'll see how it plays out. So yeah, my opponent is actually going for this like really common Forge fast expand in this matchup, and he's going out to scout right now. Unfortunately, I think we will both scout our opponents the last position, but yeah, this is just a really standard expand. I go for a barracks, put down my orbital commands, then get another command center, finish out the supply depot, and put a bunker down. Why is this bunker out really early? People have been, since the metagame has shifted back to Terran going for fast expands, really common to see some chrono boosted zealots. Not so much on this map. I definitely could have delayed it a little bit, but I didn't want to push it. Sometimes people have been doing this like recent, you know, the 2-gate pressure that's very common in PvP, or at least it was for a little while. Like, you pressure with 3 stalkers, you're able to do a fair amount of damage against even something like a 4-gate, because their additional gateways aren't quite down yet, and a lot of people just proxy the 2nd gateway and rush stalkers. I've been encountering that a lot, but I don't know if that's a Korea thing or whatever. So, having said that, I am going for a 3 Rex follow-up, but I also have this. Now, why am I doing this? Let's take a look at my vision. This is what I scout. My SCV unfortunately does die. There's still a little bit of lag. The ping is better than it used to be. I'm able to ladder here again. I used to just rage quit matches out of spite of lag, because it was absolutely horrendous for a little bit. But I think there were a couple of like server patches, server hotfixes in the past couple weeks, and I think that's actually fixed it for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a 3rd base. Now, normally when I see a Forge fast expand, I would just go ahead and put my 3rd down there. And on this map, it's really big, so I want to go ahead and just take a Ninja Expo, expand up to here. And the reason I'm not putting on the low ground, this would be a pretty good 4th for him to take. He's either going to go there, or actually I guess 5th, because you could take these bases relatively easily. Oh, I did not see this, holy crap. Alright, so I was actually not ahead. We were pretty even going into it. I have a little bit of a faster over command center, but I didn't see this at all. Interesting. I wondered how I got that many units out that fast. So, having said that, I'm actually supply blocked here for the moment, and my computer is, whoa. Alright, there we go, back up to stable. And I'm going to go ahead and get all 3 3 gases, add the 4th one relatively quickly, because I'm going to be up to 3 orbitals, and with 3 mules, I can support barracks production and possibly get add-ons pretty quickly. And after something like this, where you're delaying your STEM research, you want to get a factory out very soon. Because it's really easy to follow the standard, like, hey, you know what, I'm going to get STEM and then I'm going to get my factory. No, when you do something like this, you really want to tech to medevacs relatively fast. And that's a lot in a lot of situations. If the Protoss is going heavy 2 base, you need to be careful of 2 base all-ins. Double Twilight Cat. Oh, he's doing Oz's build. Oh, this is actually really cool. I like this a lot. Oz has recently done this in the GSL. I've never had a Protoss do this to me. And when I scanned, I was kind of like, what the heck is this? But now it all makes sense. Because he gets charge and blink at the same time to be safe against any attack, instead of going up to 8 gateways, like Parting does. This is really cool. Alright. He should be getting blink as soon as he has the gas too. Yep, there we go. Oh, I love this build. My opponent is cool. I bid him. Very cool. Alright, so a lot of times you'll want to get more barracks out to defend against 2 base pushes, but if you're rather confident that your opponent is going for some sort of greedy expo like the cannon indicates, you're safe to tech up to medevacs, and you really need that tech. If you delay medevacs to 10 minutes, you can die to any sort of Colossus push. It doesn't matter if they're doing like a really heavy timing with Lance, maybe 3 Colossus, some upgrades, blink, like Squirtle does, or if they're just going for some light pressure, you can possibly die, even if you go up to like 5 racks or so. So I damaged this Stalker a little bit, but unfortunately I have to get my Marines back in there. I don't want them to die. And meanwhile, I'm just adding add-ons. I am currently sitting at, let's take a look at the SEV count. So I have 48 to his 57, but I have mules, so we're about even. And I'm even going to go ahead and get myself a 4th base relatively soon. This is a really heavy macro map. You kind of have to play into it. If you want to metagame your opponent a bit, you're pretty safe to go for medevac timings off of like 1 base, possibly even delaying your expo a little bit, like a 2 racks into medevacs. Siege pushes also work quite well on this map because of the natural choke. You just have to be very careful that you don't allow your tanks to be in range of any stalkers or immortals on the high ground, as that will definitely screw up your day. He's adding a relatively early Templar Archives, and this is something, if we take a look at my scouting, I scanned quite a bit. When you're doing something greedy like this, you kind of have to know what the heck your opponent's doing. Unfortunately, because of the Stalker there, I really couldn't get any units out on the map until I had Stim, and I didn't want to possibly sacrifice like 10 Marines in case I lost all of them and then died as a direct result to any sort of counterattack. But we see here, he is actually starting +2 weapons, and he already has 1/1. So we're a bit even in the upgrade front. I'm only starting +1 armor now, but I already have a 2nd eBay and this armory. I actually get 3 engineering bays this game. It's rather unfortunate, but things happen. So after scanning that last time, I've kind of decided that I think that he is going for Templar tech first rather than Colossus tech, as Templar tech is actually a lot, well, it's debatable. There aren't that many natural chokes, so Zealots get a lot of surface area. I would say like 99% of the time, any decent Protoss is going to go for Storm first rather than Colossus. And if we take a look at my gas timings here, I'm not quite getting the 5th and 6th geysers yet, but around now, I kind of need to. If we take a look, I'm finally getting my Ghost Academy down. I'm adding more barracks. I'm currently up to 8. I'm adding a 4th command center. So just really, really, really heavy macro mode. And if we take a look at the SEV count again, this is actually rather high. You're going to see me sacrifice and or get SEVs killed throughout the game. And I'm actually going to sit on a very low SEV count late game. So I do not want to take this engage. A little bit of botched force fields there by him. But I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that. I did see the Storm for the first time as I saw this one Templar, so I'm like, oh crap. Mobius Reactor is nearing completion, and as soon as that hits 50%, guys, like 40 seconds, you can start building ghosts and they'll have energy. It's like same with Pathogen Glands and Chidarian Amulet when there was Chidarian Amulet. I like this positioning by him. This is one of the, I guess this map is kind of Protoss favored going into it. Really, really wide engagement areas, which are great for zealots. A lot of the times people will attribute that to like, oh, Terran Imba on this map, but it's really easy to defend drop play. Like, they make this natural ridge. You have cannons and Templar. If you're a Protoss player, please do this. It's so good, and you're able to defend against so much that could possibly just like wipe out your tech, kill some workers, stuff like that. Haven't quite saturated these geysers yet, and I'm actually floating a lot of Overmen. That's because I'm supply blocked. Can't all be perfect. I am actually incredibly bad. So yeah, I actually also have these depots up, but this is actually going to save me. In turn, just screwing up here actually saved me a bajillion SCVs, because he is actually pushing. He's near maxed at this point. This is what a fast third does for Protoss. And if we take a look at the army supply, he is actually vastly ahead of mine. If we take a look at the units, I have only 6 ghosts out, and he has like a bajillion Templar. So at this point, I'm just trying to scan and see what my opponent is doing. It's 15 minutes and I haven't secured a third yet, so he's probably thinking he's pretty ahead. I guarantee you that that's why he didn't choose to follow this up. So let's take a look at this engagement, as absolutely pitiful as it is. I try to control my ghosts here, but he has good Templar control. You see, they're a little bit split, and he leaves them in the back. He knows that he can wait until after he gets that sentry off, and unfortunately I missed 2 Templar there, and my entire army gets absolutely obliterated. The good thing about that is that the Templar no longer have energy, and I did have a couple units that survived, but still, he's doubled my army supply. But if we take if we just think a little bit about his position right now, he's on 4 base. He's just about to get his 4 saturated. He thinks I'm on 2 base right now. He has absolutely no vision of these expansions. And this initial was his scouting. So he's pretty content just to sit back, tech to Colossus, and be happy with that. Around 14 minutes is the time that if your opponent gets a relatively fast third, you can expect Colossus to be out on the field. That's why you see me place the second starport. I do also have vision of that, but I placed the starport down before I saw the Colossus transition. I generally don't start producing Vikings out of it until I see the robotics bay for sure. So my opponent has been maxed for quite some time now, and unfortunately he's a bit low on gas. I guess he could definitely take a couple more bases, but you always want those minerals as a Protoss player for the chance to warp in Zealots. And he already has 3-3 completed at this point. He's starting to research shields already. So he is in a very good spot, but if we take a look at the income still, we're about the same. I'm actually at 80 SCVs. This is really, really high. As a Terran player, you should never go to 80 SCVs because you will never have an army advantage late game against Protoss, so you really want to make that up in army supply. But if we take a look at now, like, we're evening out a little bit, and he can't really engage up here in this choke with the composition he has. So let's take a look at how good EMPs are. EMPs are pretty fucking good. If we take a look, I lost like 8 supply maybe, a couple of Marines, a Ghost or 2, before I really took any damage, and he lost 50 supply in that engagement. This has been really cost effective for me so far. The reason that this isn't quite showing it is because I lost that army for basically nothing in the first part of the game. If I had scouted his army earlier, I would have definitely gone back in and waited for a few more ghosts. And then I possibly would have even had the opportunity to counterattack. But if you see I'm muling consistently on these bases, you never want to mule in your main or natural when you have a hidden base. And yeah, this is definitely... I actually sacrificed some SCVs in a little bit. But Factory is still getting its scout rocks on, and meanwhile I am getting ghost cloaking. I really want to transition into mass ghost late game, and this is how you beat Protoss. So this was kind of like the last thing I wanted to cover showing this replay. This is how I think you can beat Protoss late game. This is something that Happy does very well. This is actually like Empire's Happy, not the I Am Happy. I Am Happy is content to go for tanks and try and 2-base Genius. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. So, like, look how cost-effective I'm being. If we remember, it was like 7,000 to 6,500 or something. He can kind of afford to be not the most cost-effective, but Like, that's really good engagement for me. And unfortunately, I thought he was actually taking this base right now, but he was just putting that pile on there to warp it on the low ground. He manages to see this, and he has to be thinking, oh shit, at this moment. So, he is actually, is he going to try and break me again? I hope not, because that would be bad for him. But if we take a look at the army supply now, I have an advantage. That doesn't mean that my opponent doesn't have an income advantage. Oh, he actually does not. But soon enough, my bases will be destroyed, and I have to pull something out of my ass. Now, so my opponent is actually just getting a 5th base. I didn't realize he started expanding over here yet. I thought he was still taking these bases. And I think that this was, if I could have made one amendment to this game after thinking about it, I definitely would have tried to drop around here. My drop play earlier was kind of shut down because he had blink stalkers on this ledge, and even now, like, this is pretty good positioning. I try and drop a little bit. Actually, do these have kills? Yeah, so I already tried to drop. Unfortunately, it was unsuccessful. Alright. So now I kind of have a feeling for what his army composition is. I'm starting to make nukes at this point, too. I probably shouldn't be spending my gas like that, but I think that they will do quite a good job. So, unfortunately, we will see how my nuke play turns out in a little bit. Oh man, I screwed that. I have just absolutely jumped the gun on that. So, at this point, if we take a look at my SCV count, it's down to 46. This is actually a relatively good spot to be in. Like, around 50, 55 is ideal at this point in the game, like 23 minutes in. But we'll see. Alright, so this is my army composition at this point. Let's take a look at the units tab. Just 4 shits. Alright, 18 ghosts, 16 marines, 15 marauders. My goal going forward is to sacrifice all of these marines and marauders in engagements in favor of ghosts. Why? Because every unit that the Protoss has can be absolutely destroyed by ghosts, because ghosts have cloaking, and if your opponent doesn't have cannons everywhere and doesn't have enough observers in his army to compensate for the amount of Vikings that you have, he cannot attack your ghosts with anything but Storm. And if you know something about Storm, you know that Templars can get it EMP'd, and then Storm is completely and utterly useless. This will lead a lot of Protoss to falsely go for a very heavy Templar count late game, where I think the honest to goodness way to beat this is really just to go mass Stalker Colossus, because if you blink under Vikings and kill the Vikings, your ghosts just get absolutely ravaged by Stalker Colossus. Like, it's not even a close engagement. But I've been able to scout that transition early enough in most of my games, and I've had enough of an economy to stand behind where I can actually adjust my composition accordingly. Ghost drops are really good, but I mean, he has cannons here. I guess I could have morphed in or tried to drop in a couple and nuke all of the pylons here. This is a really good opportunity late game to exploit using ghosts for harassment. And if we take a look, my opponent pretty much has the map at this point. But he still has a ridiculous bank. So I just wanted to show you guys, like, it's possible to go just toe-to-toe with a Protoss late game. Let's take a look. Yeah, so the appended units count is actually 25 ghosts. So I'm going to engage here with 25 ghosts and 18 Vikings. The other units are kind of ancillary. I'm making some nukes now. I really want to get... yeah, his cannon placement is actually really good, because this will prevent any sort of nuke play. Alright, here comes an engagement. I cloak my ghost beforehand. I try and get a relatively decent concave. I don't stim my bio in until the last second, and you see I got pretty good EMPs there. He manages to get 2 storms off, rather unfortunate for me, but hey, I'm okay with this. Alright, so I uncloak my ghosts. I still have enough for a fair amount of EMPs. Meanwhile, he's actually getting +3 shields. So he is in a really, really, really good spot. But does he actually have more than one robotics facility? I guess not at the moment. That may be something that he could look to do in his play. So I see the fact that he's going to try and get a Zealot surround on me, and this Observer, really good by him. But scan, pick off the Observer, and then these ghosts actually like can't be killed. Oh, there's his second robo. Never mind. All right, still pretty good for me, right? I'm 80 supply up, and I'm doing a pretty good job. So advancing up here, I still have a lot of my Marauders alive. You're gonna need those to take out cannons, because toss late game, they put minerals in cannons. Cannons are actually ridiculously good against ghosts, so you really don't want to engage there unless you're like 100% sure that that's what's up. So he is actually warping in observers to here. You kind of want to split your observers up a little bit, and I see them in a little bit, but we'll get to that. Meanwhile, warping in some more ghosts. I'm actually trying to up my medevac count at this point too, because I'm in a pretty good spot Viking-wise. You never really want to roll with more than 20, unless your opponent's going like mass Colossi. So if we take a look at the income tab, I'm still dropping mules and such, but I really need to expand at this point. Ideally, looking back, I would have had planetary fortresses. I think that planetary fortresses will be kind of a necessity if you opt to not veto this map and want to play against Protoss, because they're just the map is so wide open that they can have pylons pretty much anywhere, and that makes it really hard to defend consistently against Zealot Warpins and stuff, DTs late game. You really don't want to get screwed by that. So I'm advancing here. Now I'm only at a 40 supply lead. I've kind of let him remax. That's okay because I'm picking off his, I guess, ancillary expansions, but let's see. I'm trying to think of, it's not tentacles, but I'll think of it eventually. Even if it's at the very end of the cast, I will think of it. So yeah, I'm still staying around maxed. I'm warping in, I'm producing 12 ghosts at a time, because that's how I roll. And if we take a look at the units tab right now, 40 ghosts. I have, like, fuck all else. 17 Vikings and 40 ghosts. This is the kind of composition you want. The Vikings will kill off any observers that they have, it'll kill off any Colossi, and the ghosts will just be there to save the day and do terrible damage. But if we take a look at resources lost now, like, look at this. Terran is overpowered. Don't let don't let the forums persuade your opinion on that front. Terran is definitely overpowered against Protoss. I really like, this is not the style I really want to be playing. Ideally, I would have wanted to play mech, and I think that's something that Blizzard is working actively to fix in Heart of the Swarm. But not many people do this. Like, it's seriously, it's really good. Really, like, try it out sometime, guys. Let me know if you have any problems with it. You can post in the comments section. As soon as I guess sort of the third, I'll go ahead and talk about that now as the game is winding down. Actually, no, there's still a lot of action left. But so I'm actually going to be going on vacation for 3 weeks. During then, I will not have internet to be able to upload any more videos. But I will. I'll probably be able to cast a little bit, as long as somebody else is streaming. So this will probably be for more tournaments than anything else. Now, having said that, as soon as I get back, I will start to stream, either 1v1 ladder, if I'm trolling twos with friends of mine, team games, stuff like that. I imagine it's going to be mostly 1v1 with commentary. I will try to do at least 1 to 2 hours every day when I'm back in July. And I guess like late June, early July, stuff like that. So that's basically what you can expect going forward. So, alright, now let's take a look. We're both kind of not warping in. Oh, I need to back this up. Alright. I need to back this up. Alright, let's see. Here we go. This is what happens when you fail waypoint ghosts. Ghost AI is not the greatest in the world. I try nuke. Where am I nuking? And this is 3 nukes, mind you. I wasted 300 to do this. And oh man, I was just besides myself laughing at that, because you can't be angry. Like, that was spectacular failure. I looked just in time to see what happened, and yeah, so that was really funny. I'm actually not maxed at this point. That the previous engagement, I really just wanted to while I was looking at those nukes, he engaged and his Archons managed to injure my Vikings quite a lot. You have to spread your Vikings when you engage against Archons, because Archons are good to have in your composition against Mass Ghost, even against Mass Ghost. They have free range only, but the key point is that they're able to do a ridiculous amount of damage, possibly even one-shot your Vikings if you have them clumped up. So you really need to be active about splitting your Vikings. You can see that in the last engagement that we go into. But I'm finally using my other factory to scout. I had to rebuild it to make some more nukes. So I don't really want to lose that at this point, but I do have nukes too. Something I want to try, I think this would be really good on this map actually, is both using Reapers late game and also using positional nukes to force engagements at Protoss expansions. Not necessarily, like if they have cannons like this, you simply go to their expansion, you nuke where in the direction you think their army will be coming from, and you just completely zone them out from the engagement. A Protoss, even if he sees the ghosts, he can't be 100% certain if he can, like, he's not going to risk losing his entire army simply to engage and save one expansion. So I really want to see how that works, but as we say that, I'm getting +3 and I'm also getting some more Vikings. I really don't want to, alright. So this is really good spreading by him. Now this engagement. I move in my Vikings first. I just try and do a little bit of damage, possibly pick off a couple observers. And this is the only non-ghost unit I have. If we take a look at my 49 ghosts, that is my army. 49 ghosts, 16 Vikings. See, that shouldn't happen. That was a little bit of miscontrol by me. You want to keep your ghosts back for the majority of the time, and you want to send them forward bit by bit. You don't want to have the opportunity for him to just storm and get like freaking, I don't know, 49 kill Templar there. Alright, so there. That is a good Viking spread. And now we see I'm moving forward a couple ghosts at a time, EMPing everything, and now the Templars are kind of out of resources, but we're about even in supply. Doing something differently at this point, I know that he still has these mining bases, and I kind of don't. He boned my one with a bunch of, yeah, and this is actually, I have a lot of ghosts targeting this cannon instead of the actual units. So that would be something I would look to change. But yeah, this is pretty much just a late game engagement. Ideally, I would have gotten Marauders to kill those cannons and waited back a little bit. But I'm still in a good position, and I'm still trading effectively. These are the last 2 mining expansions he has. He really can't afford to build another Nexus, and there I killed his last Archon. So if we take a look at the units lost tab, finally, he lost a lot. I lost not so much, and he's actually still ahead on income because he did warp in these Zealots over here. So this does still go on for a little bit longer. This is a long ass game, but it was a long ass TvP and I won it. So right after I call those mules down, I unfortunately get, and this is kind of the reason I was talking about planetary fortresses. But at this point, I know I pretty much have it set. If he's forced to warp in Zealots away from his main army, I'm in a pretty good spot. So meanwhile, I lost all of my Vikings in that engagement. That was rather poor control by me, but I'm warping in more and streaming Marines across the map. Actually, you're going to see me put in a wave of Marauders too. The Marauders will help against Colossus, as I'm sure that's, yeah. So he's going for Zealot Colossus. At this point, he has to put his gas into something, and I still have a lot of ghosts up. He knows he killed all of my Vikings, so the smart decision is just to go for Colossi. See, cannons do just so much damage. Look at that. It's like freaking Nexus Wars. Alright. So, moving in my my Ghost Army at this point, just to kill all of the remaining probes and stuff. Take a look at the income, yeah. 19 SCVs to 10 probes, and the game is winding down. So yeah, if you guys want to give it a try, the reason I lose when I'm doing this is generally because I die before I get my ghost count up. I die to either 2 base all-ins that I don't scout. This map, people have been proxying gateways for all-ins. I don't know why, but it's actually really good. Like, you can't scout a gateway. Somebody did an Immortal all-in against me the other day, and he proxied his. I watched the replay afterwards. He proxied his gateways at the 4th, and we spawned here, and he was here. So I scan, I see 3 gateways in a row. I'm like, okay, he's just going for a safe expo, and like 2 minutes later, 4 Immortals and a bajillion sentries show up at my ramp, and I just cry inside. But so that is my take on late game TvP. I think that this is really effective. I would love to see if more pros do this, as they can definitely execute it better than I can. But unfortunately, it hasn't really caught on that much yet. Hopefully it will in the near future, before Heart of the Swarm releases, and then I will be going Mass Warhounds, and that will be enjoyable. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, I will not be posting a video for 3 weeks, but as soon as that is up, I will start to stream again, I'll start to post videos again, all that jazz. So you can always follow me on Twitter. I was streaming a bit of 1v1 with commentary the other day. If you want, like, I don't know, I think it was a good, like, 2, maybe 3 hours. So if you want another 2 or 3 hours of videos while I'm away, you can definitely check that out. I'll put the link in the description. And then I enabled VODs, so you can just go into the videos, like badfatpanda/videos, and it'll show you everything there. So thanks for watching this long, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace.